Let us see what is looping statements. To execute some set of statements repeatedly, we use loops. There are different types of loops: while loop, do while loop, for loop. Let us see first what is while loop. While is a keyword, and this is syntax for while loop. We write while in bracket, we give condition, we start a curly brace, and we close a curly brace. And in between this start and close curly brace, we write those statements which we want to execute till the condition become true. Okay, this is while loop. This is also called as exit. This is also called as entry control loop. Okay, because at entry it checks whether condition is true or not. If condition is true, then and only then it will execute statements. Let us see one example of while loop. This is the program. Write a program. Numbers from 1 to 100. We will see this program practically. This is our project, and in this SRC, I right click on this basic programs, package, and go to new class, give name to class while demo, mark this checkbox to get main method return. Copy this assignment name. First of all, I want to print numbers from 1 to 100. For that, syntax is like this, and here will be condition. There are three things. One is initialization, second is condition, third is increment or decrement. I will do initialization here. I will take one variable I equal to 1 because I want to print it from 1, and up to which number I want to print. I want to print up to 100, so I will put a condition till the value of I is less than equal to 100. Continue this loop, continue executing whatever written in this body. Okay. Now I equal to 1, initialization is done. We can write here comment. Comments are optional. We can avoid it or we can write. It is better to write because at the time of code review, it will be easy to understand which statement or which block is doing what. Okay. Initialization. This is while loop. Print here I. What will happen? I equal to 1. 1 is less than equal to 100. Yes, this will be printed. Value of I will be printed. Then it will again go to condition and will check whether it is true or not. I value is 1 again. 1 is less than equal to 100. Yes, 1 is less than 100. It will print 1. Again it will go 1 is less than equal to 100? Yes, 1 is less than 100. It will print. So this will be infinite loop and continuously will print 1. So what I must do after printing value of I must increase it by 1 by using I++. Now what will happen? I equal to 1. It will come into this condition. How the nature of this loop is? First it comes to this check condition. If this condition is true, it will execute this body. If this condition is false, it will come out of this block. It will come here. Program pointer will come here. So till this condition is true, this body will be executed. So first of all, we take an I because we want to print it from 1. 1 is less than equal to 100. Yes. We check the condition. Yes. So it will print 1. Then I will become 2. Here I will become 2. It printed 1 now. I became 2. Then it will go to condition. This is always same. Whenever you will write while loop, it will execute in the same sequence. Like first, whatever statements are above while loop, that will be executed. While it will check condition. If it's true, it will execute body. Then if condition is true, it will execute body. It will execute body till this condition is true. It means it checks condition, execute body, and again go to condition. Checks condition, if it's true, again comes to body, execute. Again goes to condition, checks condition, if it is true, comes to body and execute body. If this condition is false, then it will come out of this loop. So this will be, this sequence will be same whenever you write while loop in Java. Now what will happen? It will check 2 is less than equal to 100 or not. Yes, 2 is less than equal to 100. Yes, it will print 2. Then I++, it will become, now value of I is 3. It will go to condition because condition was true previously. 3 is less than equal to 100. Yes, it's true. It will print 3. Again, I++, it will become 4. 4 is less than equal to 100. Yes, it will print 4. And this will be continued till value of I becomes 100. Now it's printed 100. Let's take example 99. It will print 99 when it will go to I++, it will become 100. It will go to condition. 100 is not less than 100, but it's equal to 100 because we given here equal to, right? That's why this condition is true and it will print 100. Now value of I will become 101 and it will go to condition. You can give attention to the point where I am selecting text. Okay. Okay. 101 is not less than 100, not equal to 100. So condition will become false and it will come out of while loop.
Yes.
Now this, yeah, now this will print 1 to 100. Let's check it by running it. It printed from 1 to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As soon as it reached to 100, it stopped printing. 1 to 100 is printed. Any doubt in this?
No. Mahesh,
Yes.
this concept I get. There's another concept, the random. I think there's random is a class where we can have the numbers coming out as random, right?
Random, sorry, not getting what you're asking.
Like, is there way where we can choose this, but we want to select random numbers?
Like, for example?
Like instead of we're saying 1 through 100, the JVM will give us, let's say 17, 23, 96, 54. The numbers would be randomly selected.
Yeah. Okay, so for that, we must write some logic behind that. Okay, we must write some
That's what
logic
I was
behind
trying.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we will see that later, maybe, if you can show some example of that later.
Yeah, we can see that. But we have to apply some logic to it. Okay. How? Right?
Okay, we'll
Because
see that in later sessions then.
yeah. I will show you that as well. Okay. I will show you that as well. And for that, what we have to do is, although it is a random, there must be some sequence like 6, 12, 18 or 6, 11, something sequence should be there like Fibonacci series like that. Okay. For that, we write a
Oh.
logic. And this is a good question because this is required in generating some unique numbers. Okay. When there is a application where some users make registration, and after registration, they will get some unique ID. Okay.
Right.
For example, their
Right.
first name, first letter of their first name, first letter of their middle name, and first letter of their last name. And after that, some month, in which month they are doing registration, and in which year they are doing registration, and then serial number. In this way, some number will be generated. So this is some sequence. So such a tip sequence should be specified to generate random numbers. Okay. Otherwise, we can take some sequence, random number sequence like a table of 6. It will be print 6, 12, 18, or it will print 6, 13, then 20. It means every time it is making double, but adding one extra in it.
Okay.
Okay. So some sequence should be specified, although you want to generate a random number, or you can decide that. Okay, so can you tell me before that, what is the purpose for this? For what thing? For what you want to generate these random numbers?
No, I saw one example, but I did not get the concept how it is done. That is why I'm asking.
Yeah, you can send me that program or assignment title so that I can do that and will show you.
Okay, fine.
Okay. And that's easy because it's all about applying logic to it. Okay, how it's going. Suppose, for example, if I do here I equal to I plus 2, then, and if I give here 2, then you can see what happens.
It will be 2 will be added each time for each iteration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Means it's printing all even numbers. And if I want multiple of 5, I initialize with 5, and here instead of that you can do +5. Let us see now. It's a table of 5, 5, 10, 15. So you can do anything. Okay, but you should know which type of random numbers you want to generate.
Okay.
Any question?
No.
Let us see next loop, do while loop. This is also near about same. Little bit small difference will be there. Like this while will be where I modify a title. Write a program to print numbers from 1 to 100. Using do while loop.
So here, whatever the statement is, regardless if it is true or false, that will be executed first. Then it will check the condition, right?
Sorry.
Over here, the condition will be checked later. Whatever the statement is, that will be
Correct.
executed first.
Right. That's why it's called exit control loop. can observe one thing here, name of the class in which main method is available. That name of the class and this one, name of file, should be same.
Yes.
Okay, this is an assignment to using while loop and do while demo main method. Print from 1 to 100. This will be same here. Instead of this, write do. Okay, before that, let us see its syntax. Do is a keyword and start curly brace, close curly brace. Here will be body of loop. In this part, body of loop will be there in this starting and closing curly brace. While keyword in the bracket condition, give semicolon. This is the syntax for that. And initialization we do before this do keyword. Let's see one example. Do while demo main method. This is do while loop, curly brace, int value of I equal to, make it I plus plus, I is less than equal to 100, semicolon. That's it. Only the difference is first we write a loop body, then we check condition in this. So in do while, at least one time body of loop will be executed.
Right.
Although condition is true or false, but in while, if condition is true, then and only then body will be executed. So that's why this is also called as exit control. Click on run. It went in infinite loop. Stop this. Remove this. Let's run one again. This is 1 to 100 printed. You can see in console here. Okay. Here. Any doubt in this? Can you hear me?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Next loop is for loop. This is syntax for loop. For keyword we write, this will be initialization, then semicolon, then condition, then semicolon, then increment or decrement. Then start curly brace for loop body, close curly brace for loop body. We'll see one example. I taken one new class for demo. Mark main method, click finish. This assignment is writing to print one using for here will be initialization. I took from 1 I want to print, so I declare one variable. We can declare in loop as well. Okay, int I equal to 1. I is less than equal to 10, I plus plus. printing this. That's it. For keyword, and the syntax will be always same. Okay, these are all rules. Anytime you write, you will follow these rules. For int I equal to 1, it means for keyword, and then rounded bracket, no rectangular or curly braces, rounded bracket only. For rounded bracket, give initialization, perform initialization, then write your condition, then increment it, then print value. Okay, how sequence goes? Okay, first of all, it comes to condition, then body, then increment, then condition, then body, then increment, condition, body, increment, condition, body, increment, condition, body. So this will be continued. It means sequence will be like this.
Initialization happens only at the first time.
Only at the first time. Good, very good. Initialization, then condition, then body, then increment. Step 1. Okay, Shadat, if you have any questions, then you can note down that, okay, and you can ask at last.
No problem.
Okay,
You can call me Hussein. Hussein.
Hossein. Okay. So yeah, you can note down that because, so that you will not forget that, and at the end we can take all questions at a time.
Yes, yes.
All right. All right, fine. Sequence or for loop is step 1, initialization. Step 2, condition. Step 3, body. If condition is true, condition is true, then next steps will be executed. Then step 3, body will be executed, increment, decrement will be executed. And step 5 will be repeat step 4, condition is getting the sequence. Okay, getting this sequence, awesome.
Yes. Yes,
All
I
right,
am.
all right. So in this way, it will first initialize it 1. It will check condition 1 is less than 10. It will print 1. Then it will increment it. It will become 2. If I was firstly 1, then it check the condition 1 is less than 10. Yes, it will print 1. 1. Then I plus plus value will become 2. It will check condition 2 is less than 10. Yes, it will come to body of loop. Will print 2. It will go to I plus plus. It will be 3. 3 is less than 10. Yes, it will print 3. Then I plus plus it will become 4, and so on. When value of I become 9, 9 is less than 10. Yes, it will print 9. Then I plus plus 10. 10 is not less than 10, but 10 equal to 10. It will be 10. Then I plus plus, a value of I will be 11. This condition will get false and it will not come into this body. It will come out of this and rejection will end. We'll run this and see output. I clear this previous output. Click on this, run, and here is output. It printed form 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Understood?
Yes. Can you do one just for practice?
Yeah.
One nested for loop.
Nested for loop. Okay. We will take one program for nested for loop. I am taking one class nested for loop demo. Mark this checkbox, main method, click finish. We'll print one pattern. Okay. Write a program. Star, star, star. 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. Using nested equal to I is less than equal to I plus plus. J this is for first for loop. This is outer for, and this is for number of lines. First of all, whenever you want to print some pattern, so when and how to make use of nested loops. Okay, if there is need, then only we will use that. With the help of only one loop here, it will be very difficult to print. Very complicated logic will be there and code will be there to print it in this pattern using only one loop. So that's why we use here 2 for loops. We decide here to use 2 for loops. That means nested for loops. So this is outer for loop. This is initialization. This
Yes.
is this is outer for loop means number of. This is for number of lines. Whenever you want to print some pattern, first check how much number of lines you have. We have number of lines 5 in this pattern. So I run this loop 5 times. Let me remove this int or write one loop simply for I equal to 1, I less than equal to 5, I plus plus. Curly brace start, and here when it will come to first line, means first iteration, what should happen? It should print something. So to print first, to print we will take one more loop that is called loop. This will be j equal to 1. I take another loop variable, j equal to 1, j is less than equal to 5, j plus plus. Now I print content. I want to print star, so I give you star. I remove this ln because I don't want that after every star. Okay, after printing every star, I don't want it. So that's why I take only system.out.print. And when it will print, okay, when printing finishes, then it should print some line, or it should go to next line. And to go to next line, we have this statement. System.out.print slash. First we run this and we'll see how execution is happening. Went into what is that? Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each for each line it's printing 5 stars, but at first iteration it should print 1, then 2, then 3. So that's why make it here condition as j is less than equal to I, means j is 1 until it's less than I, keep printing. Now the answer is correct. 1 star, then 2 stars, then 3 star, 4 star, 5 star.
Yes.
So how execution is happening here? First of all, we know how loop for loop executes its sequence. We know.
Mahesh.
Yeah.
So line number 27, right? First,
Yeah.
we're initializing I to 1. Then we're saying that I is less than 5. The condition is true.
Yes.
Control will come inside the second inner loop. When the condition is true, it is going to come down to line number 29. Then it is checking J. J is 1. Then that is initialization. Then J is 1. 1 is less than or equal to 1. True. Then it comes to line number 30. It prints a star, right?
Right.
Comes out of that loop. Goes back to the line number 29, and it now increases, makes it
Right.
2. So
Correct.
2 is, then it checks the condition. That is true, it comes and prints.
Correct.
Okay.
So what happens? First of all, I equal to 1, 1 is less than equal to 5 years. It will came here. It will come here. J equal to 1. 1 is less than equal to 1. Yes, it will print 1 star. J plus plus, it will become 2. So here what will happen? Value of j is 2 now, and value of I is 1. And it came here. What happens now?
So this is 2 is less than or equal to 1. No, this is false.
This is false. So it will come out of this loop.
Right.
And it will come here and give, we will give slashing.
It will go to the next line.
It will go to next line. Then here body finishes. So it goes to I plus plus 1 comma
2.
Value of I will be 2 now. 2 is less than equal to 5. Yes. J equal to 1. Now value of j is 1. This loop will do initialization every time when it comes to this body. But
right.
for outer loop, initialization will be only once. But for inner loop, initialization will be at every time it comes into
Okay.
this body. Yeah. Then it will print star. J plus plus will be j will be 2. 2 is
2.
less than equal to p. Yes, 2. Second star will print. Then this will become 3. Is less than to false, it will come out of this body, and we print slash n will come to next line. Any doubt to this?
No.
All right. This is how we can work with nested for loops. Also, you can play with it. You just flip this condition and you can see it's printing a different pattern. Suppose I want to print 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4 like this, then what I must do here? Can you guess? If I want to print here 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Then I should be written
Restart.
here. I should be written here. Then it will
Okay.
print 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about stars.
Yeah, if I want to print 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at line number 5, then what change I must do here is make it as a J. One, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is because this remains constants for whole line. Okay, that's why when I want 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, then I give I. But when I give a serial number by incrementing 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, then J is changing like that. At second iteration, J is going to up to 2. Then at third iteration, J is going from 1 to 3. Okay.
Yes.
Clear. Okay, also you can do some more exercises here. Suppose I want to print like this. Five star, then 4 star, 3 star, 2 star, 1 star. Then can you guess what I must do here? First of all, see number of lines. Number of lines, this look will be same because number of lines are same here. 5 lines. Then we are printing star, but will you print 5 star at first iteration? For that, make it as a 5, and 5 is greater than equal to I. Then print star, then decrease this 5 minus 5 will be 4, 3, 2, 1. It means I value of I is 1 and value of j is 5. It will continue from 5 to 1. First it will 5, condition is true, 5 is greater than equal to 1. It will print star, I minus j minus minus, it will become 4. 4 is greater than, no, it's a false. Yeah, 4 is greater than 1. Then star, again star print. J minus minus 3. 3 is greater than equal to 1. Yes, it will print third star. Getting?
Yes.
This is a pattern. Also, you can try one more pattern. Okay, first you try this. If you do this, then you can take some additional. This all is about for loops. And we saw all loops. Let us see next part. So actually, when we learn core Java, we consider that we know these loops and conditional statements because these are basics.
What about for each loop?
for each.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there will be lots of types. Yeah, we will see this when we will learn array. Okay. When we traverse array, okay, at that time mostly we use for each. Okay, we will see this in array topic.
Okay. Let us see structure of Java program. First of all, there is always package declaration. We write comment, but comment is never part of our program. It's not considered as a code. We write comment at anywhere, that's not an issue, but package is first statement in our program and it must be first always, otherwise there will be error. First write we package declaration, then if we don't declare that package, it will go to default package. Then we include some libraries, import some libraries. After this, we declare class, then we open curly brace, then we write main method, then again we open curly brace, then we do variable declaration, input output statements or operational statements, then we close main, then we close class. This is how we write Java program. This is a structure. By doing programs, okay, when you will do some programs, you will automatically understand how structure of it. Here we just went through it. Members of class, variables, constructors, blocks, and methods. Out of this, first we will see variables. Variable is a name given to memory location to store some value which we need in our program to do some operations. Two types of variables, instance variable and static variable. When I declare a variable without static keyword, then that is called instance variable. When I declare a variable with static keyword, then that is called static variable. Instance variable is stored in heap type of memory area and static variable is stored in centralized memory area. There are different types of memory areas like register, centralized memory area, heap, stack, program counter, okay, cache, buffer, lots of types of memory area, and out of that, static variables will be stored into centralized memory area and instance variables will be stored into heap type of memory area. Again, the difference between these two variables is we can access static variables directly by using class name without creating object of class. But to access instance variable, we have to create object of class. We cannot access instance variable by directly class name in which it's declared. This is second difference. Also, third difference is single copy will be created for instance variables and multiple copies will be created for static variables. Because it's a specialty of centralized memory area, it will create
single copy for variable, whatever we store in centralized memory area, it create single copy. So static variables copy will be created, only single copy will be created, and for instance variable, multiple copies will be created. If there are 10 users or 10 classes which are accessing a particular variable, if that variable is an instance variable, they will get 10 different copies for each class or object or user. And if they are accessing, if 10 different users or object or classes are accessing a static variable, then only one copy will be shared among all 10 users or object or class. This is difference between instance variable and static variable. So depends on requirement when to use which one. That is our call. Declared with static keyword. Let's see. Yeah, that will come in example. When we will take example, that will come. Constructors. Constructor is a special type of method which is written to initialize different set of values to same variables. Constructor does not have any return type, even word also. If we write return type for constructor, then that will be considered as normal method. Then we never call constructors. Constructors are automatically called. As soon as we create object of a class, then constructor of that class will be executed. Then why we write constructor? To assign different set of values to same variables. We do initialization of variables. To assign values to variables, we use constructors. We can overload constructors. There are types of constructors: parameterized constructor, no parameterized constructor. This is about constructors. Also, if we don't write constructor, then JVM insert default constructor from it. And if we write, then it will not insert. Getting this?
Yes.
Okay. We will see one practical example how we create instance variables, static variables, and constructors.
Local variables are the variables that is inside the method, right?
Right. Inside method or constructor. This is a class, this is instance variable, and this is static variable. We use static keyword to declare variable as static. We don't use static keyword to declare variable as instance variable. This is constructor. This is default constructor because this does not have any parameters in this bracket. And we are printing here default constructor executed. Let me create one object of it. Now you can see we does not call this constructor. We simply create object of class. Constructor demo, how to create object of class. Give class name and give object name. This you can give any name except keywords. CD like this. You cannot give like this int or static. Give some other name except keywords. CD. I created object. Now this constructor will be automatically executed. First we see this, how this constructor executes. This is a constructor. It does not have any return type. It's like a method, but not method. And this we use to initialize different set of values, how that we will see in next program. We don't call it, it's called implicitly. When we call, we say it as an explicit call, but when we don't call, when it automatically called, then it's called implicit call. And when we create an object of this class, then this will be called automatically. Now see, here you can see I'm not calling this constructor. I just created object of this class, and you can see now that constructor will be executed. Default constructor executed. So this is how constructor we use, and as you can observe, it has a name, same name as class name. Int a equal to 10, static int b equal to 20. Now see this part. Now we are trying to understand instance variable and static variable. When I say class name dot a, then it will show me error. Now focus on line number 23 now. System.out.println constructor demo class name dot a. It's not allowing me to access this instance variable because we cannot access instance variable with class name. For that, we have to create object, and here we have object CD. When I give CD.a, then there is no compile time error. It shows it will execute properly. Run this, and you can see output 10. And advantage of static variable is I can call it directly by class name.
We can also call it directly, right? Without the class name, we can just call it.
Also, it will be called, and with the help of with the help of object, with the help of class name, or without class name also it will be called. So why it is happening? Because we are in the same class. That's why no need to give class name, right? Okay, but if we access it outside class, this B, then we must specify class name.
Yes.
Here B will be accessed. Any doubt in this?
No.
Now we will see constructor overloading. This is very important to understand actual advantage of constructor. We can copy same program here. Let me write this first and then I will explain it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a constructor overloading. We can write more than one constructors, and each constructor will have different parameters. This constructor has one parameter, that is string parameter. This constructor has two parameters, two integer parameters, and this has two parameters, that is float. One is float type and second is double type. We cannot give like this, either number of parameters or type of parameters or sequence of parameters should be different. Okay, we cannot give same. For example, like this string, we cannot do like this. It will give error. This will not be constructor overloading. If we give int a, int b, then again we can give like int a, int b, int c. Number of parameters will be different, but we cannot give again int a, int b. Then if I give float a double b, then also I can I can declare one more constructor which will have one float parameter and second is a double parameter, but the sequence should be different. Here I am using float double, but the sequence should be for the another constructor double float, okay, double b and float a, like that. So how it understand, how compiler understand, it depends upon the type of constructor. Either it understands from type of constructor or number of parameters or sequence of parameters. Based upon that, constructor compiler understand which one constructor to select and execute. Now, if I create an object, so these are constructors. As soon as I create object, it will be executed. But in this case, it will not execute because it does not have any default constructor in this. Right? So it will print blank. Default constructor is executed. It should not execute that. Just a second. Okay, we will see this, why this is happening, because I'm not passing anything here. Okay, although it's printing this, it might be printing previous one program's output. Let me open it once again. Constructor coding. Default constructor executed. Okay, let's see this point. Why this is happening. Because I'm not passing anything here. Okay, although it's selecting default constructor. So we'll see this, why this is happening. And here I pass first some string, let's say Mahesh. Oh, why this is happening? Can you tell me now? Because you can see name of constructor is different one. Previous class name of constructor is here. But it should be constructor ODemo.
ODemo, yes.
That's why it was happening. Constructor ODemo. Now it's showing error because it does not have any default constructor. Not what it's saying, compiler is saying, this is compile time error. Compiler is saying you not written any default constructor in your program and you are trying to execute that. Okay. So that's why it's showing you error. When I give here, for example, 10 and 25. Remove this double quote. Save this and run. Now multiplication will be displayed. 10, 25, 10 into 25, 250. 250 displayed. That's what happening. when I create object, that time some constructor will be executed. So it will find such a constructor which has two parameters, 10 and 25, which has two integer parameters. So it will see here, it will not find here, it will go here, it will find here. Here also it will not find, here it will find. So it will replace this 10 into this A and 25 into this B, and then A into B will be happened and it will be stored into mul variable, and that will be printed. So multiplication equal to 250. If I give some string, okay, then it will execute first constructor. This is the place where we provide parameters. Here I am passing one string parameter. It will find where is such a constructor which has one string parameter. It is not here, it is not here, it is here. So this value will be placed into this name, and then it will print that name. Let me print that name here. You can see now no other constructor is executed. No this one, no double type. Only this one constructor is executed. This is called constructor overloading. If you understand this, you understand method overloading also. Okay, without this, understood this one? You there, Hussein?
I am here.
Yeah, have you understood this?
I understood this. Mahesh, it's almost 8 o'clock. Let's stop today. We shall continue tomorrow.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I have to go to work.
All right.
Tomorrow, same time?
Yeah, tomorrow same time.
Okay, Mahesh, I will see you then.
Okay, please do practice.